Here's the final illustration that I ended up doing for my holiday card for 2025. The style I want to go for this year is something really limited. I want to do something that is akin to Yoshira from Studio Trigger, just an animation style without heavy rendering. So on to designing the costume. I created a chibi proportioned version of my character, and in my mind I was thinking, is this character like a winter spirit? She's wearing jackets and clothing with like gold accents and cuffs and lots of layered patterns. None of this was really vibing for me, so I had to take a step back, and I was trying lots of stuff, like a big coat, and I didn't like any of this stuff. So I took a step back and I looked at figure skating outfits, and for me this started to work a little better. It was more fun, and it kind of gave me the vibe of like a New Year's Eve party dress or a cocktail dress. And this is the final that I liked the most. Lots of ruffles, and has this asymmetrical cuff on the arm that I thought was kind of fun. On to the sketch cleanup. If I want to push this animation style, I need a clean line. And I spent a lot of time here just reworking the hands. It's very prominent in the picture. It's right up close. So on my other monitor, you don't see here, I have that 3D model from part 1 open just to double check the placement of everything. And I'm pushing the perspective of the finger using the fingernails. And if I really want the line to be super clean, I could do another overlay on top of this. And sometimes you see the image in a different light and you keep refining it this way. Drawing in the high heels again, those pointy points help the perspective. And I fixed up this clavicle because the cowl is sitting on top of her shoulders. I really want to make that apparent. I try to think of fabric having the thickness of raw leather. Here's a picture of it. You can really see the corner of the leather. So even if my fabric is as thin as satin, I want to remember it has a thickness and a form that I can turn in 3D. So here's a replay in real time of me doing it. And that's it. That's really all it is. I'm defining the corner of the fabric, which helps sell the top plane and the side plane of the garment. Here's tip number 2. I use a lot of colors to define the piece of clothing. And in this case, for this ruffles that I'm going to be doing, I use different colors for the front and the back. So here's an example of exactly what I was talking about. I sketched in the shape of the ruffle and then painted 2 colors. I used green and this yellow ochre to show which the front and the back. And then I sketched in the ruffle pattern, which I'm just doing by hand. It's this kind of wavy line, you know, like as if 2 pieces of fabric were smushed together. So I had to ink this small section to see if this would even work out. My technique for inking is I will outline the object and not worry about the line weights. I'll go in after to add that depth. And here I'm just adding those darkest darks to kind of simulate the ambient occlusion. And in the end, I think it worked out pretty well, so I was confident enough to finish the rest of the dress. Since I'm still pretty new to Clip Studio, I do all my compositing and painting in Photoshop. And I do all my drawing in Clip Studio. The next step was to do the shadow pass. And I wanted to use Clip's lasso fill tool to get the job done. Very simple. I exported the line drawing, the flat underneath it, and I created a multiply layer with just a cool blue color that will represent the shadow side. So when I'm finished, I can go back into Photoshop and just dump in local color, and the shadows will be taken care of them by themselves. This is quick and dirty, and like I said before, I'm looking for ways to speed up my process and create work that is on par with what is done in animation. With the shadow pass done, I just dragged and dropped into my main document and I was ready to add the flat color. Dropping in the flat color was super simple. I just used a flat opaque brush and yeah, that was it. Easy. Then came penguins. So many penguins. I don't think I even counted how many I did. I went into clip and I used the lasso tool and I just redrew this pattern on every penguin. Good times. I'm only joking. This was really enjoyable. You know, I hate AI. I got to draw something fun for myself and I'm really happy with the result.